The king is dead.
His territory.
Let's make it all.
And CBI the keys.
Every time I try working with a Flynn, I end up dodging bullets.
CBI is stronger together.
We coming for the north side.
You're a pirate. You don't understand boundaries.
As we enter the second half of the season, the balance of power and alliances are about to shift the landscape of the drug world in Chicago. Despite Vic being the heir to his father's throne, Walter Flynn's death will create a void in the north, and there will be a few characters circling, each hungry for a piece of the pie. However, intertwined in Vic's storyline in the second half is this aspect of law enforcement. He now finds himself in essence what I would call a chain around his neck. Although I did raise a theory earlier this week, could Vic actually work as a double agent? Now speaking of double agents, there does remain a few mysteries, one of them being Maria Garcia and her intentions. Is she running game on Tommy or are they genuine? The same could also be said about Shanti Showstopper Page. What's her next move considering Jenard could be back in with the CBI? There is a lot to unpack from new alliances, love interest for Tommy as well as Diamond, and also the aftermath of Walter Flynn's death. So as usual, we're going to be running through a preview of all things episode 6, breaking down the clues, exclusive images, and clips. Now the title for episode 6 is Here There Be Monsters, and the synopsis reads, Tommy and Diamond expand their coalition by bringing in Vic and Jenard into the CBI. Mirkovic warns Tommy against encroaching on Serb territory and makes good on his threat with catastrophic results. At the end of that blockbuster episode 5, we saw Vic coming face to face with his sister who betrayed him. Now he went straight to Stacey Marks with the sole intention of bringing down Claudia Flynn. However, she wants bigger. She wants Tommy Egan, Miguel Garcia, and the entire drug network in Chicago. In exchange for immunity, we saw Vic agreeing to help Stacey, and so his first move will most likely to be heading over to Tommy and offering him a deal. Now with the synopsis teasing how Diamond and Tommy will expand their coalition, they're not hiding the fact there will be a new alliance. This is a deal which is going to be way too hard for Tommy and Diamond to resist, despite him saying whenever he works with a Flynn, bullets seem to follow. But there is a fine line between risk and reward, and so we are going to hear Tommy telling Diamond, let's make it theirs. We've got them standing over the map of Chicago, which is reminiscent to the end of season 1, except this time, they're in a position to make that move, not just because the foundation of their organization is set, but because Walter Flynn's death does open new doors. But one of the major problems Tommy and Diamond will face is Mirkovic and the Serbian network. The territory that Vic seems to be handing the keys to sits right above Mirkovic's, and so he's not going to be happy with Tommy's move. Unfortunately, we all know that's not going to stop Tommy and the CBI from entering the north, so definitely expect Mirkovic to retaliate. In the synopsis it teases that there will be catastrophic results, and matching this up to the official trailer, we see the Serbs entering the Crimson projects. This is the same territory that Jenard did promise to Mirkovic at the end of season 1, and it does seem like it is going to be all-out assault on the Crimson projects with Big Smurf caught in the thick of the action. Now this isn't Tommy's only problem. Little does he know, the reason why Vic is here to offer him the keys to the north is because he's working with Stacey Marks. However, I do wonder if Vic is planning something else and where the double agent theory comes from. There are certainly still a lot of unknowns and twists to come, and I do think that could be one of them. This is also where I do think he's going to tell Tommy Claudia killed Liliana, which is the confirmation that Tommy's been looking for all season long, with his response being he'll make her suffer. But will Vic really inform on Tommy? That's the real question. I'm hoping he doesn't, so let's see how this plays out between law enforcement and the CBI. Now speaking of the CBI, we're also going to see Jenard and Tommy coming face to face, with Jay offering his hand. Now it is going to take a lot more than just Jay apologizing to Tommy to make things right, and for him to come back over to the CBI. Let's not forget he stole 2 bricks and managed chain in episode 5, so I do think he has a lot of making up to do before this coalition can work. There's also the fact that Jenard is out of control at this moment in time. He took that dangerous next step of injecting heroin in episode 5, and he needs to clean himself up if he ever hopes to make it right with not just the CBI, but also Shanti. Despite Shanti knowing something isn't quite right with Jenard, she has refused to give up on him so far. We see them face to face in Jenard's house, with Jay offering her something in her hand. But what does Shanti make of this new coalition between Jenard and the CBI? Is this something that she's going to be on board with? I really don't think she is. She made it known how she was backing Jenard, not the CBI. She was betting on him to win, not Diamond and Tommy. She also strikes me as someone who's extremely ambitious, and these are a few words that were spoken by Adrian Walker, who plays Shanti. So I do think the time is now for Shanti's character to step into her element and show us what she's really made of. Now, moving over to the Flynns, it does seem like we're going to be introduced to a new player, maybe a family member of the Flynns who's come to pay their respect after hearing about Walter's death. But tension really does seem to be in the air with Vic and Claudia, and she does not cut across a happy figure. That's because her plan failed with taking out both her father and Vic. Now I asked the question around whether Walter Flynn will have any more moves up his sleeve from beyond his grave, just like Ghost did once with Tariq. So this image is very interesting, and I wonder if this is Walter Flynn's inheritance, which is being discussed, because if it is, it's going to be very interesting to see what stipulations he has put in place. We also saw what Ghost did with Tariq St. Patrick, and knowing how controlling Walter Flynn is, would anyone be surprised if he still held on to some element of control over his kids, even if he's no longer there? I don't know about you guys, but I certainly wouldn't be surprised. I also wonder how Vic will play this with Claudia, because he damn sure knows his sister tried to take him out. Does he keep his cards close to his chest, or will he reveal to Claudia he knows what she tried to pull? Now, regardless of whether he keeps his cards close to his chest or not, this relationship is completely done for. Of course, things can change very quickly in the world of power, and a common enemy and a common goal can bring them back together, just like we've seen Diamond and Jenard getting back together with the CBI. But this particular relationship will be really difficult to repair, especially considering the loss and betrayal Vic has suffered, and the acts he's had to commit. So if I was a betting man, I'd probably lean to this relationship being over and done with. The question for me is, what moves has Walter Flynn got up his sleeve?
So why do you love your Mustang so much?
It's a good question.
Moving from Walter Flynn's next move to Maria Garcia's, we've got Tommy and Maria car shopping, and love really does seem to be in the air for both of them. Now, I've been through two perspectives when it comes to this relationship, one where Maria could be playing game on Tommy, but one where it could actually be genuine. But if I were to give my opinion at this moment in time, the chemistry between them certainly does feel real. I'm not sure about you guys, but I get the feeling she is genuine, or at least for her sake, I do hope she is. Otherwise, she does run the risk of ending up next to Holly. We of course can't rule out the other theory until it's 100% confirmed, which I do think will come at some point. It's just a waiting game, which the writers do love playing on in my opinion, especially because it keeps us as the audience guessing for a bit longer. Elsewhere, we've got Diamond planning something with a new player. Now what this is really is anyone's guess. There's not much context to go on in terms of this. We've also got Diamond with Gianna and Leon looking at a comic, and we all know Diamond has grown a bit of a soft spot for Leon. He's become a bit of a mentor to Leon, teaching him how to box, and I really wouldn't be surprised if he strikes up a bond with Gianna. The only problem with this is, we all know what happens to those who try and live a double life. So Diamond does have to tread very carefully when it comes to Gianna and Leon. I'm also intrigued to see if we see D-Mac at the Youth Academy, very similar to how we saw Tariq at Choate. But whether we see this or don't, I think we all know he probably won't last long at Great Shores. But with that being said, that's a breakdown and a roundup of the week's images, news and exclusive clips. And where episode 5's theme centered on family, this is going to soon shift to alliances and territory. But there is a lot of betrayal, manipulation and secrets at play, which does leave the second half of the season really unpredictable. But drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.